Most people spend their lives chasing shadows, looking outward, trying to become what the world expects of them, trying to keep up with who's ahead and what's trending. They wake up measuring their worth by likes, applause, and comparison. But here's the truth that cuts through all the noise. Nothing out there can define who you are in here. Growth doesn't begin in the spotlight. It begins in the silence. When was the last time you paused long enough to really hear your own soul speak? There's a sacred power in turning inward, in getting still, in listening not to the voices around you, but to the voice within you. Because that's where your clarity lives. That's where your truth has always been. The world will keep telling you to do more, be more, prove more. But what you really need is to become more of who you already are beneath the noise. You see, focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give love when you're running on depletion. You can't lead others when you've abandoned your own path. When you turn inward, you start asking better questions. What do I believe? What wounds am I still carrying? What dreams have I buried just to fit in? These questions might be uncomfortable, but they're the doorway to freedom. The problem is, most people are afraid of that mirror. They'd rather stay busy than face the parts of themselves that still ache. They'd rather distract than dig deep. But healing, growth, real transformation, that only happens when you're brave enough to face your own reflection, not to judge it, but to understand it, to learn from it, to nurture it. When you start to do that work, everything changes. You begin to move differently, speak differently, think differently, not because someone told you how to live, but because you finally remembered who you are. You are no longer swayed by every opinion. You're no longer shaken by temporary storms. You become rooted, firm, focused, faithful. That kind of person doesn't chase validation. They embody it. That kind of person doesn't compete. They create. They don't shrink to fit. They expand to grow. The truth is, the answers you've been looking for, they're not out there. They never were. They're inside the quiet corners of your own soul. And when you give yourself permission to slow down, to look inward, to be honest about where you are and who you're becoming, that's when everything shifts. That's when real growth begins. Because you can't transform what you refuse to face, and you can't rise until you're willing to go deep. So take the time, sit with yourself, breathe through the chaos, let the world race by if it must. You're not falling behind, you're rising within. And remember this, the greatest journey you will ever take is the one back to yourself. There comes a point in life where pretending no longer works, where the smile you wear starts to crack, and the weight you've been carrying in silence begins to leak through the edges of your strength. We've all been taught in one way or another to hide our pain, to bury it, to tough it out. Society applauds the mask, the ability to act like everything is fine, even when your soul is breaking. But you can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't exist. Healing doesn't happen in the shadows. It begins in the light of truth, the moment you admit, even quietly, I'm not okay. And that admission isn't weakness, it's courage in its rawest form. There's no shame in being wounded. Life leaves marks, some from loss, some from betrayal, others from years of being told you weren't enough. But the goal isn't to be unscarred, it's to stop hiding the scars and start learning from them. See, hiding only creates layers, layers of pain, denial, distraction, and eventually those layers harden into emotional armor. But armor may protect you, yes, it also isolates you. It distances you not just from others, but from yourself. And how can you grow if you're not even present in your own life? Healing isn't a straight road. It's messy. Some days you'll feel like you've made progress, other days you'll feel like you're back where you started. But each moment of honesty with yourself, every tear you let fall, every truth you finally face is a step forward. That's growth. That's power. That's reclaiming your story. And you don't need to explain your pain to anyone. Not everyone will understand your journey. And that's okay. Healing is not about proving anything. It's not about gaining sympathy. It's about finally giving yourself the love and patience you've given away so freely to everyone else. When you choose to heal, you're no longer bound by the past. You begin to break the cycles. The same patterns that kept repeating, pain in different disguises, start to fade. You begin to attract different people, speak different words, see yourself through kinder eyes. You stop needing validation from the world because you're finally validating yourself. That shift, it's everything. But it requires honesty, it requires stillness, it requires the bravery to sit with the pain instead of running from it. And that's where most people struggle. They want the reward without the reflection. They want growth without discomfort. But healing asks for all of you, your truth, your vulnerability, your patience. And make no mistake, healing is not becoming someone new. It's remembering who you were before the world taught you to forget. It's peeling back the pain to rediscover the purity, the purpose, the strength that's always been there. Growth doesn't come from numbing what hurts. It comes from walking through it, knowing that what's on the other side is worth it. So don't hide, not anymore. Don't water yourself down to keep others comfortable. Don't silence your soul to fit in. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to rise. Even with the bruises, even with the scars, especially because of them. Because the truth is this, what tried to break you didn't win. You're still here, still standing. And now, finally, you're ready to stop surviving and start healing. There's something sacred about peace. Not the kind the world gives you temporarily, moments of silence between chaos, but the deep, unshakable kind. The kind you feel when you're no longer at war with yourself. That peace is power. And once you find it, you must protect it with everything you have. You see, not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every voice deserves a seat at your table. Life will always have noise. People who provoke, situations that test you, moments designed to shake you. But peace, real peace, doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you've decided to stop letting outside storms control your inner world. There's strength in knowing you don't have to respond to every insult, engage in every argument, or explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Growth shows up when silence becomes your answer, and peace becomes your priority. Not because you're weak, but because you finally know what's worth your attention and what's not. We live in a world that thrives on reaction. One comment, one look, one post, suddenly your day is hijacked. But what if you chose differently? What if you stopped giving your power away to every trigger, every distraction, every opinion? That's not ignoring reality. That's choosing maturity. That's knowing your energy is sacred, and you won't spend it on what doesn't build you. It takes strength to walk away, to set boundaries, to protect your space, even when people call you cold or distant. But peace isn't found in pleasing everyone. It's found in staying true to yourself. And you'll notice the more you protect your peace, the more clearly you see. The drama loses its grip. The anxiety loses its volume. And suddenly you're living, not reacting. You're breathing, not bracing. Protecting your peace means saying no, without guilt. It means surrounding yourself with people who water your soul, not drain it. It means letting go of what no longer fits the person you're becoming. That might mean walking away from toxic cycles, old patterns, even relationships you once begged to stay. Not out of bitterness, but out of love. For your future, for your purpose, for your healing. And make no mistake, protecting your peace will cost you something. Maybe even someone. But it's worth it. Because once you taste the stillness of a clear mind and the calm of an undisturbed spirit, you'll never crave chaos again. You'll stop mistaking intensity for love. You'll stop chasing people who never deserved your heart. You'll stop proving your worth in places that only ever saw your wounds. This is what power really looks like. Not loud, not flashy, but centered, grounded, unbothered. When the world comes knocking with drama and you answer with silence, when life throws the storm and you become the calm, that's power. That's peace. And that's yours if you choose it. So protect it, guard it, honor it. Because in a world that wants your attention, your reaction, your soul, choosing peace is the most powerful thing you can ever do. Discipline isn't about punishment. It's not about forcing yourself into routines you hate or grinding through life with clenched fists. No, real discipline is something far deeper. It's self-respect in action. It's showing up for yourself even on the days you feel unseen, even on the days no one's watching. It's honoring your future by how you live today. You don't wake up disciplined. You choose to become disciplined moment by moment, habit by habit. It starts small, waking up on time when your body says stay, saying no to temporary comfort because you believe in something bigger, keeping promises to yourself that no one else knows about. That's not just control. That's self-love with roots. The world will always offer an easier way. It'll whisper, skip the workout, just one more scroll, rest later. And there's nothing wrong with rest when it's earned, but if you always choose easy, life becomes hard. If you always avoid discomfort, growth stays just out of reach. Discipline is what pulls you forward when motivation disappears. Because let's be honest, motivation is fleeting. Some days it shows up, most days it doesn't. But discipline is loyal. It walks with you even when the fire burns low. Discipline is choosing to train your mind when doubt creeps in. It's showing up for your healing even when it's painful. It's holding yourself accountable to the vision you said mattered most. That's what separates wishful thinking from transformation. Because talk is cheap. Change costs you comfort. But here's the beauty. Every time you show up with discipline, you're building trust with yourself. You're proving that your words mean something. You're building integrity, brick by brick. And when you trust yourself, you stop needing permission from the world. You stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. You already believe in you. Because you've seen your own consistency in motion. That's why discipline isn't rigid, it's freeing. When you're disciplined, you don't get tossed around by feelings. You're no longer swayed by every mood, every obstacle, every distraction. You become the kind of person who doesn't flinch under pressure. You move with purpose, you act with clarity, and over time your life becomes a reflection of those choices. People think success is one big leap, but it's not. It's built in the quiet hours, the early mornings, the unseen decisions. It's built when no one's clapping, when quitting looks tempting, when the results haven't come yet, but you keep going, not because it's easy, but because you respect where you're headed too much to stop. You deserve that version of you, the one who doesn't give up on dreams, the one who follows through, the one who values peace, healing, and purpose enough to work for it. And discipline? That's the bridge. That's the tool. That's how you close the gap between who you are and who you were always meant to be. So don't wait for the right mood. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Decide today to become the kind of person who shows up anyway, who keeps showing up. Because the most powerful kind of respect you'll ever earn is the respect you give yourself. We spend so much of our lives chasing connection, wanting to be seen, to be understood, to feel like we belong. And there's nothing wrong with that. Human beings are wired for relationship. But when we search for connection from a place of emptiness, we don't attract love. We attract distraction. We don't build healthy bonds. We fall into patterns that mirror our pain. The truth is, when you're not whole, you'll accept less than you deserve. You'll settle for people who tolerate you instead of celebrate you. You'll bend, shrink, contort yourself just to keep someone from leaving. But that's not love. That's survival. And you were not created to survive relationships. You were created to thrive in them. That's why your most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. When you finally stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself, everything begins to shift. You stop begging to be seen because you see yourself. You stop chasing people who don't care because you care enough to walk away. That's not bitterness. That's healing. That's maturity. That's growth. When you focus on becoming whole, you break cycles. You begin to attract people who match your energy, not feed on your wounds. And no, that doesn't mean you'll never feel lonely. It means your loneliness won't push you into places that betray your worth. You'll sit in solitude, not because you have to, but because you choose to. Protect your peace over pleasing others. Some of the most powerful moments in your life will come in seasons of isolation, when it's just you, your thoughts, your truth, and your faith. That's when you grow. That's when you confront the fears that used to control you. That's when you learn to love yourself in a way that doesn't depend on being needed, liked, or praised. And when you reach that place, when you've done the work, when your joy no longer needs validation, when your boundaries are rooted in self-worth, the right people will find you, not because you chased them, not because you had to prove anything, but because you finally aligned with who you really are. And that alignment speaks louder than words. The right people don't complete you. They complement the wholeness you've already built. They don't fix you. They respect your journey, your space, your story. They come with peace, not confusion, with clarity, not mixed signals. They mirror your growth, not your old wounds. And they're not threatened by your strength. They're drawn to it. But you won't meet those people by pretending. You won't find them by wearing masks or shrinking yourself. You find them when you rise into your full self, flaws, fire, and all. That's when your light becomes undeniable. That's when your presence speaks before you even say a word. So stop searching for love in places that ask you to dim your light. Stop settling for almost, maybe, and halfway. Start choosing you, fully, faithfully, fiercely, because when you do, the people meant for you will rise to meet you, and the ones who walk away, let them go. They were only ever meant to show you what you no longer need. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is become so whole, so rooted in truth, that peace follows you wherever you go, and the right souls can't help but find you there. There's a rhythm to life that no clock can measure, a timing so divine, so precise, that no amount of hustle or worry can rush it. And yet, in the waiting, we often grow restless. We want answers now. We want breakthroughs now. We want the dream without the delay, the harvest without the planting. But life and God don't work that way. Sometimes you're doing all the right things, making all the right moves, and still it feels like nothing's happening. That's the test. Not of your talent, not of your effort, but of your faith. Because faith isn't proven when everything's going your way. Faith is proven when you're standing still, rooted in purpose, while everything around you feels like a question mark. You see, growth doesn't always look like motion. Sometimes it looks like being planted in silence, in obscurity, in seasons where nothing seems to be changing, but deep beneath the surface, everything is shifting. The roots are taking hold. The foundation is being formed, and without that, anything you build would collapse under pressure. That's why staying rooted matters. It's easy to stay focused when the rewards are visible. It's much harder to keep showing up when the applause stops, when the doors stay closed, when your prayers feel like they're floating into silence. But those are the moments that shape you, that refine your character, that strengthen your spirit. There's something powerful about the person who doesn't give up when the world isn't watching, the one who keeps working, keeps healing, keeps believing, not because it's easy, but because they know who they are and who they trust. That kind of person, that kind of faith, it doesn't go unnoticed. Heaven sees it. The timing may not make sense to you, but it's never off. It's never late. It's preparing something you can't yet see. And when the time is right, things happen that no man can block, no force can delay. The doors that stayed shut will open with ease. The opportunities you thought you missed will circle back. The dreams that felt distant will come alive in ways better than you imagined. But not because you forced it, because you stayed rooted, you stayed faithful in the unknown. So don't measure your life by what's happening on the surface. Don't compare your journey to someone else's timeline. Stay planted in your purpose. Keep watering your character. Keep tending to your peace. Because while the world celebrates speed, God honors roots. And what is rooted deep stands strong in any storm. The truth is, what's meant for you doesn't need to be chased. It needs to be prepared for. And the waiting isn't punishment. It's preparation for strength, for wisdom, for responsibility. So when it arrives, you're not just ready to receive it. You're ready to carry it. Hold on. Trust the process. Keep your soul anchored, because sometimes the blessing isn't in the breakthrough itself. It's in who you became while waiting for it. And never forget, what grows slow grows strong. So here you are, standing at the edge of possibility, not looking outward for answers, but turning inward for truth. This entire journey, it's not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were always meant to be, to heal what hurt you, to